Our business is the business of helping small businesses succeed. We do accounting. We're a CPA firm. We do accounting and things, but it's really all about taking what the numbers are telling you and using that information to help grow the business, to help people succeed, and not just the accounting, but helping them in everything they need to understand, from legal issues to everything. We're not attorneys, but being able to advise them on a broad spectrum of things. So that's really what we're about, is helping a business reach its potential and succeed, and helping them explain what's going on in the business. There's always a few things you remember in life, and I can remember when I was a kid growing up, and our family was not destitute, but I can remember one time my mom was looking at the grocery bills and saying, wow, we can't afford this, and it just always affected me as to how finances played such a vital role and how much stress it could put in somebody's life. And so then I got into school and I saw the numbers and how you could do your debits and credits and they balanced, but the fact that those numbers were telling a story, that's really what intrigued me and what made me move on in it. I guess it all hinges back to when I was going through school. I kind of put myself school raising hogs, which is kind of an odd way of doing it, but took some risks there and saw the rewards of entrepreneurship. And I don't know what would have happened if I'd lost money raising hogs. I mean, I'd been in business today, but at any rate, it did work out. And so, just the thrill of being in business for yourself and whatnot. Went to school. I knew I wanted to be an accountant, but once I got out, I knew I wanted to help people, and I wanted to cut my own swath in the world, I guess. No, I went straight from college to working for what at that time was known as one of the big 8 national CPA. There was 8 worldwide CPA firms. I went to work for one of them, and that was really, they're the ones that I figured if I wanted experience, I wanted to work for the best. And so I was fortunate enough to get a chance to work for them, and worked a couple of years for them till I thought I knew it all. And then I started out from there. Left them. I was actually working for them in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and came back to Jefferson City, Missouri. So I obviously didn't steal any clients whenever I left them, and just didn't realize how green I was. You think you know it all until the first time a client handed me a payroll tax return, and I'd never done one, and I had to read the instructions on it. But it's all good. It was a big decision because you're going from working for the big boys, you got a big salary, you got the prestige that goes with it, to your own firm, and you got to believe in yourself. And I thought the whole world would always beat a path to my door because I had all of this knowledge, and I was obviously the best. And there's a little bit of a rude awakening between reality and your dream there, but it works. I guess the thing I would do is spend a whole lot more time in learning about the business of business. And I think back, I took my daughter to, she was interested in photography, and I took her on a tour. One of our clients is a very successful photographer, and we went out and spent a day with him. He was really gracious, but he said something that just really expanded on what it takes to run a business. He says, everybody thinks what I do is photography. He said that's about 25% of what I spend my time on. The other 75% is spent on marketing, on business decisions, on all the other administrative things it takes, and he doesn't even have any employees. And so if I had to do it over, I'd spend a lot more time learning about the business of business. and what it takes to really think through the pros and cons, and maybe I wouldn't have been in business for myself had I done that, but it's turned out very good, and looking back, I wouldn't probably change a thing, but I would probably, as Tom Peters says, learn to make my mistakes quicker in life. Good question. There's a lot of good books. There's a lot of things. We're actually writing a book on that right now. But there's a lot of materials out there. I guess I would spend a lot of time on understanding marketing, whatever service or product I was going to offer. That's one of the number one things. Sales is probably sales and communication are the greatest skills in the world, as far as I'm concerned. And so I really think that people need to spend time, even though everybody gets in a business because they're good at a business, whatever they do, that doesn't necessarily mean they're good at running their business. And if you have no sales, if those people don't beat the path to your door, and you don't understand how to market to them from their perspective, and you don't understand how to communicate from them, not from a technical perspective, but from what you're going to do for them, it's never going to go anywhere. And so I would really spend some time either attending seminars or reading books on marketing and communication skills, and everything needs to be forget about me from the customer's perspective. And because if you don't have that, you don't have a business. You don't have a customer, you don't have a business. So you got to, and when you start out, you got 0 customers. So you got to figure out how to get that first customer. And once you get him, you got to service him and be good at it. But I got to understand, I got to believe that most people, when they go into business, are good at the product they deliver. They're just not necessarily good at letting the world know how good their product is. And so I would spend the most time on communication, and that's written, verbal, oral communication, and on marketing. That's the place I'd start. Then you obviously got to know get the bean counters like us and everybody else involved, but you got to know how to get people on board first. Well, marketing is key, but as far as, let's assume they have a customer base, they have to understand what it takes to help them break even, what it takes to be profitable, because, and what's involved in doing that. I mean, you literally can be so good at marketing you can grow yourself out of business, because you can put yourself in such a cash flow bind you can't do it. And I don't see a lot of businesses with that problem, because most of them, frankly, are not very good marketers. But you need the key thing most people need to understand is, what are their financial numbers telling them? There's key numbers in everything, and every business has some key performance indicators, whether that is a nursing home, what your cost should be per patient day, whether that is how many customers a day it takes you to break even in a restaurant, or what the average customer ticket has to be to break even. You have to know the business of business. You have to know those key numbers, and you have to know what to do with them, and how to manage based on those. You have to have information that is available to you very quickly and timely, so that you can manage your business, and you can use that information, let it tell you a story, and understand what that story is, and know when there's a problem, and know when it's time to party. When it's good, it's good. When it's bad, it's ugly. And so, know how to keep it from getting bad, and the steps to take as it moves, because it's never going to be really good, and hopefully it's never going to be really bad. You're going to be riding this wave, and you're trying to determine whether it's the economy, whether it's you, whatever, but it's a constant process of monitoring and tweaking things. And that's where most people, we all get comfortable in what we do, and as a result of that, we just coast. And as you coast in this day and age, there's somebody that's in the passing lane, and they're moving past you. And so, we're never done learning. And at the point we quit searching for new ideas to help our clients, there'll be some young whippersnapper that'll come along and he'll pass me right by, and I deserve to be passed, And so I've got to be constantly looking for new ideas and constantly reading and keeping up in all the areas that affect my clients. My clients are affected by insurance coverage, they're affected by legal issues, they're affected by tax issues, they're affected by marketing. I got to know a little bit about all of it, and just enough to be dangerous about some of it, but I have to understand it and how it all fits together. And that's what it's all about. And so it's really about staying current in a lot of areas so that you have a broad perspective to make good business decisions. That's a long answer to a short question, Travis. Our company is, we don't have a target to be the Fortune 500 or the biggest company or anything like that. The goal of our company is to be the best we can be with whatever we do. And so if we got 10 clients or we got 1,000 clients, if we're not serving them right, if we're serving them right, they're going to tell the world and we're going to grow. And so we can hire the right key people, and we will continue to hire the right key people, but the real key is to make sure we constantly keep the systems in place to give a client more than they expect from us. And that's really what it's all about, is to make sure that our systems are as good as we brag they are, and that we actually deliver on what we tell people we can do. Well, the book, there's 5 CPAs from across the country that do exactly what we do. I've known them. We're all a part of an organization called PASBA, Professional Association of Small Business Accountants. And we got together to write a book about the stages of business, from what do you have to do before you go into business, the things you should think about, the things I should have done before I went into business, deciding whether to use a franchise or not a franchise, the key decisions, business plans. Then once you get into business, how to monitor those key statistics, what do you need to do, hiring, firing, those issues, on up to, we take it to the stage of, okay, at some point in time, you're going to sell your business. You're either going to sell it to somebody else or you're going to die, and that's a method of getting out of business. So you have to plan to make the business saleable. We discuss that in there, and then we discuss conversion after the business. What happens in your life? How do you convert the business to somebody else? And how do you change your lifestyle from living and breathing business to enjoying the rest of your life? And so that's what the book's about. It's called, I think, The 6 Steps to Success, something like that. Really not a huge catchy title, but it should be out. It's in the final editing versions right now. It should be out within the next, I would say, 60 to 90 days at the most.